KBLA Talk 1580, the Terry Claiborne Foundation presents its 26th annual holiday party, Saturday, December 9th, featuring live entertainment, celebrity appearances, plus food and drinks. There is a cover charge for this party of the season, but not if you're one of our special guests. All you have to do is go to our website at KBLA1580.com and sign up. That's it, that's all. Just sign up at KBLA1580.com and you could win entrance to the soiree of the season. But whether you win or not, get a ticket, support the kids, and come join us on the red carpet in your semi-formal club attire and celebrate the season with KBLA Talk 1580 and the Terry Claiborne Foundation as we collect toys for the youth in our community. That's Saturday, December 9th, 1110 South La Cienega Boulevard, just south of Olympic. It's a holiday party with a purpose.
I'm Terry Claiborne. It's going to be a party. Come hang out with us.
The importance of it, yeah, we're back to work. I took time off, all the rappers got jerked due to the fact they whack in their track. Have to go back and stack cause they lack the ingredients, EPMD and scratch for that. Yo, I'm the hip-hopper, plus the soul shocker. Down with MD, yes, the microphone doctor. One Rex, the other dissuasion. If you think you're ready to mess, kill the noise. We don't play when it's time to slay. I get a cut from my homie, yo, then I lay back and mac and all the rhymes I pack and wait for a sucker to jump and then attack.
Well, I'm known to be the master in the MC field. No respect in 87, 88, Chanel, cause I produce and get loose. When it's time to perform, wax a sucker like mop and glow.
That's what it born.
It's back the second time, but on a different assignment to do a sucker new jack who needs to rap in alignment, cause I'm the cream in the crop when it's time to do a show. Girlies on my jock for my dope intro as I glance at the double K microphone wrecker. Turn on my callers, say your mic checker to the ladies and all party goers. Some call me Pete, then others slow flower. Brothers on my jock for the way I hold a piece of steel. So what you saying?
Welcome back into hour 2 of RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Shout out to EPMD, man. So what you saying? That was a cut. That was when, you know, DJs actually did something on the record. No shade, no tea, but, you know, scratching and cutting. I don't think that that is currently a part of hip-hop. I don't think people know, learn, or care about that. If you're using, what is the tool? I know it used to be Serato back in the day. I don't know what it's called now or whatever that they utilize, but virtual DJ, whatever, you know, it's all about your blends, which I like blends too, you know, make it sexy, flow into songs, some different musical combinations, but yeah, hip-hop was different. That feels good sometimes, you know, it doesn't have to go back, but we just like to go visit it. We've done a lot of that this year. Welcome into hour 2 of RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. This, of course, is the show where we hit all the trending topics across entertainment, sports, lifestyle, and culture. And, you know, we've been chatting about a lot of various things tonight. Thanksgiving coming up, food. We care about food. I do, at least, but within moderation, our health. So listen, you know, Tom Brady is retired. This is the first year in a very long time that the NFL has not seen him in there. And he's just been popping around doing whatever he wants to do and enjoying life, especially as, you know, he's newly single. So recently, he and Denzel Washington hopped on social media to vocalize a scene with each other from Remember the Titans. Let's just say acting, maybe he was nervous because he was with the great Denzel. Acting is probably not something that Tom wants to, you know, dive into, but it was a cute little moment, and Denzel is just effortless. He was just reading off of a page, and it still was, like, amazing. You're just like, ah. So, of course, that's on social media if you want to check it out. Sometimes I wonder when Denzel pops up on social media like that, like, who sets it up for him? I know he's not out there running his social media. Do they just say, show up here, you're going to talk to the people out there? Does he have questions? I wonder. Also, I don't know if you guys have seen this video. There is a video that went viral on TikTok and social media a couple of days ago, and a woman shared the inside of her car after it caught fire. And she had a Stanley brand cup, which is, one of those cups that keeps the cold things cold and the hot things hot, right? And so she opened her car and it was like completely burnt out, like flamed up. The cup was still intact and she shook it and it still had ice in it. So car completely caught on fire. So let me tell you how smart the Stanley company was. The president of Stanley immediately, within 24 hours, stitched her video, offered to replace the Stanley cup that she lost, and to buy her a new car. So, they said a one-time only deal. I think that is genius marketing for their company. Obviously, the product holds up. They didn't even ask for that. So the amount of impressions that they got for their company just by this tragic occurrence, buying her a new car is probably much cheaper than the media spin that they would have sent. But that's crazy that it kept that ice jingling in there. What are they making those cups out of? Kind of want to know. Kind of curious about that. So, are you fans of The Real Housewives of Atlanta? A lot of people are. It's a very popular show. But as of the last couple of seasons, there's been, some ratings cooling, shall we say. Well, allegedly, they just wrapped up their most recent season. And allegedly, there are changes on the horizon for the franchise. So, of course, there were rumors that swept across social media that Sanya Richards-Ross and Drew Sidora both removed RHOA, the acronym for the show, from their bios. Drew corrected everyone and said it was never there. But there are rumors that only 3 peach holders will be coming back for the next season, and that they want to fill out the cast with some up-and-coming socialites. So some ladies that are not already on the scenes, not already celebrities, but are bubbling under in Atlanta's social world, just like you didn't know, the Phaedras and the Nenes, etc., Sheree, before this happened. However, there's also excitement brewing because social media users, because they're detectives, they spot everything, have recently noticed that Bravo has started following Nene Leakes again on social media. And so, Andy Cohen recently made comments. He said Nene told him to keep her name out of his mouth, but, maybe. So I wonder if we could see a return of Nene to the franchise. We'll have to keep our eyes open for that. Fans would certainly be excited to have that come back around. We will have to see. When we come forward, we're going to get into some lifestyle topics, which are basically saying that most of y'all, just kidding, people are lonely, poor, and don't know how to have sex right. All of that and more on the other side. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580. Environmental justice, pollution, and climate. In Los Angeles and across America, people of color are suffering and dying from disproportionate health impacts on a planet that has less than 10 years to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses, respiratory illnesses, water-related illnesses, food system impacts, insect-related diseases, black maternal health, and mental health effects. As the impacts of climate change mount, millions of vulnerable people, our people, are going to bear the brunt of these extreme environmental events, which will likely lead to forced displacement, loss of cultural identity, and other related risks. These realities are as real as rain. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details about the most progressive multimedia and live events campaign any black media outlet has ever undertaken to combat the climate catastrophe. Experts, events, empowerment. It's all on the way from unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580. We don't black down. We level up.
Level up, 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 level up.
It's here. Black Friday week is live at Target. Save up to 50% on select tech and video games. Plus, save up to 40% on select small appliances, up to 45% on floor care, and so much more. And get free shipping when you spend $35 or use your red card at Target.com. Hurry! These Black Friday deals end Saturday. Get low prices and great Black Friday deals. Only at Target. Exclusions apply.
Turning my pain into purpose is pretty much what I have done to start this foundation.
In August 2020, after the death of George Floyd, Bridget Floyd and other family members established the George Floyd Memorial Foundation in support of the Black community.
It's going to take more than just us as a foundation. It's going to take the community, the world, to make a change.
Fight for racial justice for the Black community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Hey, keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So listen, I mentioned that there are a couple of studies that have come out, all related to lifestyle and how we are living as people in these unprecedented times. Aren't we tired of living in unprecedented times? I just wish little precedented times were just things were just kind of regular, normal. At any rate, in Empower, they are a financial services company. They recently released the results of a survey conducted by the Harris Poll in August that asked 2,000 Americans aged 18 and over what they think the key to financial happiness really is, right? And about 59% of the responders think that happiness can be bought, and that the average person believes that having $1.2 million in the bank is the amount that could provide you with true financial happiness. Now, there have been a couple of studies that say that earning, I think, over $1 million a year doesn't necessarily grant that particular individual additional happiness. But it does buy you options, I will say that. But I thought that the survey was interesting because it also discussed the median net worth of Americans. So it is up from 2019 when it was $105,610, right? And this is for Americans aged 35 to 44. No race was included in that. To 135,000 in 2022, right? But millennials say that in order for them to truly be happy, they need to be making an annual salary of $525,000 a year, right? Each generation, though, broke down, had a different number as to what they feel like their annual salary needs to be in order to lead a completely happy life. On average, across the board, from Gen Z to Boomer, the average amount was $284,000 a year to be happy. But when you break it out by generations, Gen Z, they said that $128,000 a year with a net worth of $487,000 is what they would require to lead a happy life. For millennials, I told you that number, $525,000 with a net worth of $1.7 million. For Gen Xers, $130,000 a year with a net worth of $1.2 million. And for Boomers, $124,000 a year with a net worth of just under $1 million. So men said that they would need a little more than women to be happy. child support maybe. No, I'm just kidding. 381,000. Women said significantly less would be required for them to be happy. And I found that interesting because women are always talked about as being gold diggers and looking for men to take care of them. But I think that men forget about patriarchy, right? So, like I said, men felt they needed to earn $380,000 a year to be happy, while women said $183,000. So that's over $200,000 difference. Wouldn't you expect it to be higher because they're the gold diggers? And we have much more when it comes to maintenance and output and things of that nature. So I just found those numbers to be very, very interesting, right? Oh, and actually, I had the number wrong. The study from 2010 by Nobel Prize winner Angus Deaton actually said that 75,000, everything after that, it didn't really adjust your happiness level that much. I thought that number was very low and unrealistic. Maybe, somewhere, but not living in Los Angeles. At any rate, the latest economic data, the reason why they did that story is that they are trying to find ways for Americans to match their financial happiness goals to their realistic day-to-day goals and to make them more achievable. We are recovering or still in, depending upon who you ask, a recession. And, inflation is kicking in. So they're trying to, I guess, find a happy medium for people. Doubt that it'll ever really happen because, it's wholly individualized, right? What works for one person and depending upon where they live and what their family structure is going to be very, very different. For example, 62% of millennials say that they would be willing to pay $7 a day for a daily coffee just because of the joy it brings. But, boomers, they think that's crazy. So it's all subjective. You just gotta kind of line up your priorities and go, right? And obviously we know millennials feel like, and maybe they are, the generation that is not moving ahead as quickly as their predecessors or and are making do with less. But let's add to what comes along with that, right? Americans are also allegedly facing a friend shortage. So this year, I think I mentioned this in a show a few weeks back, that people say that they are more and more choosing their friend groups based around, certain financial situations. Not that they want to judge their friendships, but sometimes it can be hard to maintain friendships if your financial status changes in one way or another, moves up, moves down, that discretionary income thing. So it's said that half of Americans are experiencing measurable levels of loneliness at any given moment, whether it's related to losing a loved one, moving to a new city, financial or health issues, or the isolation that comes from, more social media, remote work, whatever. And it's obviously a very modern problem, right? So in addition to things like Cutler's services, a company called Ground Floor, they started in the Bay Area. They're going to be opening up a location in LA, and it's a social club. And the focus of the club is friendship. And what sets it apart from others members only clubs is that it's marketed towards those seeking community rather than exclusivity, right? So the gentleman that started it, his name is Jermaine. He is a Londoner who is now currently living in the Bay. And the club is going to provide spaces for work, meeting rooms, phone booths, wellness, so you can go and take a gym class, maybe meet a new friend, meditation circles, etc., and socializing. There's going to be karaoke nights, member-led special interest groups, craft workshops, and it's not going to compete with WeWork or any of those other things. It's solely about friendship. It's kind of like, remember when you were a kid and they would have after school at some places after school care where kids would go and they would get to do their homework and they would put them in groups and they would play games or do stuff like that. That's basically what this would be for adults. So an after school club for adults, primarily over 30 though. So Gen Zers, not for you. And what they say is that, there's always an issue once you start to hit your 30s as far as finding, and making new relationships. We start to lose, the old connections that we had to communities, whether it's because we're moving, changing jobs, moving away from our hometown, our college town, getting married, getting divorced, all of these different things, and because people are not going to church as much as they used to, more classes online, different things of that nature. Once you leave your 20s, it is often more difficult to find organic relationships and to connect over something, shared interests. How do you do it? Especially when we spend so much time online now, right? So they're looking to launch the first location here in LA in Echo Park. And they already have 2,000 members, potential members on a wait list, right? And so the club has 3 locations in the Bay Area, San Francisco. They say that they have 1,000 members that have joined and that it really underscores the loneliness crisis. So let me tell you how much it costs a month to join the Friendship Club. $200 a month, right? And I guess it's kind of like, a different sort of Soho house, but for a more reasonably priced price tag, right? And you can connect with people that are also looking for friendships because the connection to the place, the way in is not based on your job, your financial status, so to speak, right? So we'll have to see if it's something that takes off. Do you find that you have problems holding on to friendships as you get older? I think it's just the natural evolution of things. People grow and change. They get married, they get divorced, they move, all of those different things, lives that don't keep us kind of bonded in the same way that it did when we were younger. Plus, we can just connect when we're young over silly stuff. You can, but I think the older you get, it's not more likely that someone's just like going to come over to their friend's house just to watch TV when they're married or it makes things weird. So you have to plan stuff. And I think it just kind of, puts friendships in a different way. And then you think about with the added layer of social media and texting and things of that nature, it's much easier to feel like you're closer to someone or that you're reaching out because it's so easy to fire off a text or, it's a birthday, oh, HBD, and keep it moving. And there's no real connection with these things. There's no real exchange. And you're like, what are you talking about? We're so close. I just talked to them. And really, you're not really and truly connecting. So they said that it's really almost a crisis in the U.S. The U.S. Health Department says lonelier people are at twice as risk of developing depression compared to their non-lonely peers. And they're also at a much higher risk of developing heart disease, stroke, dementia, and premature death. So, get those connections popping. And it also comes at a time when more than a quarter of American homes consist of a single person. We talked about this too a few months ago, and that is a record high for this country. It is more than triple what it was in 1940. So trying to come together and create community in these times is really, really difficult. It's a different sort of thing. So I just wonder, like, Andy, would you join a friendship group or like an after school club? I don't think it's a bad idea for people. No, you would never do that. You're like, no.
I'm not going to say never. For me,
you're good with your friends
I'm
and
good
the
with
connections.
My friends. I don't have that issue. I mean, once again, you said it. Blame social media. That definitely takes away from building and connecting. Even for our youth. You know what I'm saying? We used to play outside.
Right.
These kids ain't playing outside nowadays.
They don't know how to go up to somebody's door and face their mean mama and say, can Candy come out and play or whatever. Man, that used to be a trip. So, I mean, you know, I hope that it's the holiday season. And I wanted to bring this up just for that measure because obviously we know we're rolling into the times and the holidays affect different people in different ways, how they feel about it, if they have family, if they are connecting. So what I would implore you all to do is, you know, you can't take on the burdens for everybody and you can't be superhero for everyone, but maybe pick one person maybe you haven't talked to in a while or that you're extremely fond of, or just, you know, do a personal outreach. Don't, you know, I know you got to be careful because some people are like, never text me. And some people are like, don't leave me voicemails. But just try a more personable approach with somebody. Just make that a goal of the holiday season. And if you know someone that, you know, maybe is alone or doesn't have much family, reach out or see if you could do something nice. I'm not saying something super expensive or something over the top. Just, it's important to make real life connections. And I feel like we have forgotten that is something that we see. Obviously, we're seeing the results of that. So if that is the one thing that you could do for the holidays, I would ask that you do it because, you know, it's a cold world out here. And, you know, it's chili pimp on these so-and-sos. All right, we're going to get into this a little bit and more on the other side, but I also mentioned that there is a report, a men's health report that claims that there is an optimal time for men to put in that work sexually. They say that there is a number and that really people in general, men and women, are wholly unrealistic about the time that sex should be, and their expectations may in turn cause poor performance for men and erectile dysfunction because the expectations are on a whole other level, right? So what I will say is, according to this study, over the age of 30, 1 in 4 people are having sex at least 4 times a week, right? I don't know if that's single, coupled, taking it all in conclusion, but that is what they were saying. On the other side, we will get into what the optimal amount of time they're saying is for a sexual encounter should be. Excuse me. And some of the other, you know, misconceptions and unrealistic expectations that people have surrounding intercourse and their sexual relationships. You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. News and sports is on the other side.
Sit back and recline, watch the sunshine, take a stroll, listen to rock and roll, check the flick at the movies, dance a bowl. What I choose and refuse to slack. While I'm back, I take a chance, Jack, so I must attack with knick-knack, paddywhack, so I won't lack. All my style is death and it's deadly as crack.
While I'm slaying, music's playing, the sucker is the lane. Battle in the trenches where the funky be playing, cause with a partner like a double, don't come a dime a dozen. A kin of blood related, but you could call us cousins, cause as we climb the chart, better known as statistics. The brothers on my jock while I'm kicking ballistics, dropping hits like I'm house and you got the chill and more. The proof is in the pudding. Yo, check the billboard. People around town talking this and that.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. New York City Mayor Eric Adams says he loves travel as he explains the amount of times he's been to Turkey. His trips to Turkey have come into question since the FBI started looking into Adams' campaign finances, favors, and possible influence by the Turkish government. The mayor, who is black, says he is hiring someone to set up a legal defense fund because New Yorkers have reached out to his team wanting to help. The HBCU Alabama A&M Marching Band will lead this year's Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York City. Less than a dozen bands from across the country were selected to perform in the famous parade this week. Additionally, the Dancing Divas will perform with the Rockettes at Radio City Music Hall. The broadcast starts at 8:30 a.m. in all time zones. It will broadcast simultaneously on NBC and Peacock. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Did you know Discover wants everyone to feel special? That's why with your Discover card, you have access to 24/7 customer service, as well as $0 fraud liability, which means you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. Limitations apply.
KBLA Talk 1580 invites you to join us in celebrating the season of giving by being part of the solution. As we enjoy great food, family, warmth, and well wishes in whatever our festive tradition may be, we share the beauty of the season by reaching out to the less fortunate. Please help us to help others with the KBLA Cover the Houseless Cozy Community Coat and Blanket Drive. All you have to do is drop off new or clean, gently used winter coats and blankets in the KBLA lobby during business hours, now through December 20th. All of the coats and blankets will be donated to unsheltered individuals and families experiencing houselessness. Simply bring your donation to 4434 Crenshaw Boulevard in Los Angeles, near Vernon Avenue, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays. That's 4434 Crenshaw in historic Leimert Park. During the holidays and every day, let's remember, we keep us safe. We keep us warm. We are the safety net, and together we can cover the unsheltered. Get caught up in the spirit of the season, the spirit of love. Make a difference with your friends at KBLA Talk 1580.
Ask any former youth in foster care what they missed most while growing up, and they will most likely answer, someone to show me unconditional love. Now, isn't that something we all wished we could experience? Here in Los Angeles, up to 40% of homeless youth on our streets identify as LGBTQ+. The most prevalent reason for homelessness among this population is the rejection they've experienced from their own families. The LA County Department of Children and Family Services and Raise a Child are searching for safe, nurturing, and affirming foster parents within our community willing to stand up and serve all children and youth in foster care, especially LGBTQ youth. Learn the many benefits to becoming a foster parent. Attend a free Raise a Child virtual or in-person informational event to learn more. RSVP now at raiseachild.org. That's raiseachild.org. And thank you.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment. LA's 99 neighborhood councils form the grassroots level of the Los Angeles city government. The system was created to connect LA's diverse communities to City Hall. While neighborhood council board members are volunteers, they are also public officials elected to office by the members of their community. Neighborhood councils advocate on issues like homelessness, housing, land use, emergency preparedness, public safety, parks, transportation, and sustainability. They also provide local expertise on the delivery of city services to their various communities. Neighborhood councils are open to participation by anyone who is a part of the fabric of daily life in said community. This includes those who live, work, or own property or a business. If you are interested in stepping up to join your local neighborhood council, visit www.empowerla.org. That's empowerla.org. It's time to think globally, but act locally. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that for Bree's car.
Just right, just right, just right, yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, all over Bree's car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah. Breathe happy for Breeze. La 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 la.
Hey Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Shout out to Forensic Accountant in the chat. He says that BT Express sample of If It Don't Turn You On included in the So What You Saying song, the EPMD song that we played before the break, is a classic. That album, Do It Till You're Satisfied, is one of the most sampled albums in hip-hop. Interesting. I don't think I knew that. Thank you, Forensic Accountant. You always coming through with the obscure, random music. Not just music, but a lot of the like old school 80s things or whatever. We appreciate you. I like that. I like a resource. So Andy, Forensic Accountant, who's on the aux cord for the holiday? Is there a playlist? Do you leave it to somebody else? Is it all about football? What goes down with that?
As far as music goes?
Yeah.
Who's on the aux cord?
Yeah. Do you have a playlist? Is it somebody else in the house? Is it really just conversation and football, so there's no need for music? What's your vibe?
I'm probably the wrong person to ask about my holidays. I'm not going to really be around family, per se.
You going to be with your boo?
I'm going to be with my boo. Mom's going to be at work. And, I got friends that's going to be cooking or whatnot. But, kind of to, what you were talking about earlier with regards to friends or whatnot, I think I'm at that age now where
it shifts.
It definitely shifts, and a lot of us have our own individual families.
Right.
So it seems as if my friends want to have Thanksgiving with their own, their immediate family. You know what I'm saying? Their new boo, their kids, this, that, and the third, which I don't have a problem with or whatnot. But I guess to answer your question, it's all football. It's all football. Couple libations here and there, and it's gonna be some food. It's gonna be me and my boo, and
day.
I may holler at the home and be like, "Hey, let me come get a plate real quick."
Bleep,
it might
bleep, bleep,
yeah,
right?
It might be one of them type of situations.
Okay. And thankful that it's no work on Friday. Ow. Ow. Bam. Okay, so speaking of ow, ow, bam, let me tell you guys what they say the optimal time is, the time period for sex, right? They're saying that all of you people out there talking that long, strong, lasting, extended time period, you're wrong. You're putting too much pressure on your mate. They, and by they, I am saying the people that put together this study. I'll give you their name in a second. 5.5 minutes. That's what they say the optimal, realistic time frame is for the dirty deed. Anything more than that, you are doing too much as far as the pressure, the expectation for your significant other, the realistic time frame for the deed, all of that. Andy?
Are they including foreplay? Or is this strictly penetration?
I think that they are strictly talking about the act. However, they do mention foreplay, and they said that of Americans, I'm going to scroll down and find the stat, that kissing, cuddling, and foreplay, there is not only more time spent on that than the actual act of sex. It's actually the preferred part of sex for a great deal of people, right? So they also discovered in the study, half of those in serious relationships admitted to occasionally thinking about someone else when they are having sex. So they are visualizing someone else when they are in bed with you. Is that problematic? I don't know. I mean, depends on what point you're at too. Like, might be I see why it's offensive wholeheartedly, but I don't know if 10, 15 years into the relationship and somebody wants to, visualize something. Is that wrong? Because it's not cheating. I don't know.
Just don't get caught up and say the individual's name.
Right. Don't mention it. Don't say. I wouldn't share that info. Like, if you're going to do something like that, I don't think that's something that you should tell your mate. I also don't think that it is something that you should tell a friend unless you really, 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 really trust that friend. Because I think that is something that nobody would want to hear, and you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings like that just because you're trying to make the situation better. Okay, more stats. 1 in 7 individuals wish that sex lasted longer, with men desiring more extended intercourse and women longing for more kissing. That seems to make sense, probably, right? They also said that 73% of the respondents felt confident that they could read their partner's satisfaction, but only 18% said that they always achieved an orgasm during sex. And that's men and women. So, y'all out there faking the blow? I don't know, on both sides. I think, it's a communication thing, right? And like I said, the study also found that intercourse was the least common sexual activity, with kissing, foreplay, and cuddling coming before that, right? So it's Pilot Health that did the study, and it said that, people think that men should last 2 times as long as, 5 minutes. So people generally think sex should last about 12 or 13 minutes, but the optimal time frame, and when men perform their best, according to this study, is 5.5 minutes. They said that unrealistic expectations have been set up because of adult films, and that is specifically related to the lack of sex education now in schools and, unrealistic and unhealthy expectations of relationships based off of media and so forth. Andy?
Did they equally ask men and women?
Yes, but it doesn't break down the what the numbers were on each side.
Because I feel as if that number's more skewed for men.
Okay.
And I could be all the way wrong, but I just don't think it's going to take 5 minutes for a woman to climax unless, and this is why I asked about the whole foreplay thing, because I'm speaking from experience, and what I was told, I stand to be corrected. But you want to warm up the plate first,
right,
and that sometimes take time. You know what I'm saying? And if you warm it up well enough, when it comes time to do the do, all it will take is 5 minutes for it to go down. Correct?
Well, Kendi in the chat says, "Ain't no way." About 30 to 35 minutes. He's not rolling with that number. Forensic Accountant says, I always use the 90-minute slow jam tape as my barometer, with auto reverse, of course. Okay, Forensic Accountant, you sound like you out there playing games or whatever, Listen, I don't know. I guess it is the optimal time frame is what you and your partner agree upon. But in theory, I guess the 6 to 12 minutes, when you think about the course, if your foreplay or whatever is not included in that probably tracks, right? Like, I don't know. Probably makes sense for the average session. They also said that, what else did they say? That, again, unrealistic expectations have set this up for people. 59% of men think that porn is positive or does not impact their sexual performance. And most of them felt that mimicking the acts that they witnessed in an adult content would please their partners. However, 33% of women believe that adult films play a significant role. Well, they agree, I guess. 33% of women feel that, you know, their dude has picked up on something or they've picked up on something from watching these adult entertainment things, right? You know, the thought is that limiting adult films could benefit people, but there's also the possibility that for some, because there's debates about this, and I really don't know, it probably fluctuates with the individual, that, you know, it can help them show them things. But there's definitely a segment that feels that it perpetuates unrealistic expectations on performance, body image. It normalizes aggression, extreme behaviors, and in some cases violence, while also minimizing the barrier for consent. Andy?
It's hilarious.
They just ran it down.
I'm with the whole notion that you can learn some things, you know, but it just sounds like, you know, a lot of insecurity.
Listen, I mean, I guess, you know, we've talked about this a lot, but that's when it comes to, you got to talk to your partner and see. But that's that is an awkward conversation. Yeah. When do you decide, like, do you decide after you already have engaged in a couple of things to kind of see like, oh, maybe we should talk about this aspect of it? I'm not talking about the basics like, you know, are you tested, condoms? I'm talking about the pleasure side of it.
I 100% feel like there should be a conversation.
How soon into the relationship, though? And is it before you actually start engaging in intimacy? Because if you have the conversation before, does it have you in your head when it goes down about that aspect of it? I'm not talking about the health factors, but
I'm going to just go ahead and say as soon as possible.
Okay.
Only because it's just a great thing to at least be aware of while engaging, because a lot of the times, you know, I'm gonna speak for men, generally speaking, you know, we don't discuss what it is that our partner or whoever it is that we're about to engage with, we don't discuss or try to even figure out what it is that they like.
Right. They don't care.
Off the rip, we're just, you know, we're bunny rabbiting. You know what I'm saying? And you're not being pleased by that.
But don't men just I feel like a lot of men just assume that, you know, for them, it in theory, you would think it doesn't take much for that rocket ship to take off. Whereas
for
women,
us.
right. Whereas women, you got to hit a couple of more buttons
Exactly.
or something like that. And I don't feel like maybe the connection is there or the concern is there. Yeah, whatever. It happens. What you gonna do? Forensic accountant still talking. No games. Me and the homies were always late to the club because of you. You had your friends waiting out in the living room while you were tightening some young lady up. That environment, I'm not rolling. I'm not for that. I don't know. Anyway, that's a flashback to another time. That's just not cool to be. Not that it's not cool, it just doesn't work for me. When we come forward, we'll get into more trending topics. We're going to talk about Boosie and the interlopes. And shout out to LeBron James. He's the first NBA player ever to score 39,000 points. That happened tonight in the win against Utah. All of that and more. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
Did you know there's a way to outsmart COVID if you get it? Now there are medicines that can treat COVID, whether or not you've been vaccinated, which is great news, especially if you're over 50. If taken in the first 5 days of having symptoms, COVID medicines can help stop the illness from getting serious. Call a healthcare provider or the statewide COVID hotline at 833-422-4255 to learn more about COVID medicines. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Discover, this is Danny.
Hi, it's Jen Coolidge. I just want to thank you for making me feel so special. I earned cash back on debit for my dinner party groceries.
That's great. But with Discover Cashback Debit, we give everyone cash back on everyday purchases. Anything else I can help you with?
Are you hungry? 'Cause everyone left after the asparagus sorbet.
Introducing Discover Cashback Debit, a checking account with cash back. It pays to Discover. Eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashback debit. Discover Bank, member FDIC.
At Susan G. Komen, we believe that ending breast cancer needs all of us working together. Because if you've just been diagnosed and don't know where to turn, we've got you. If you can't afford the treatment you need, we've got you. And if you are driven to honor the loved one you've just lost, we have a place for you here. Because of you, we're supporting those who need help today while tirelessly searching for tomorrow's cures. Visit Komen.org and be a part of our Susan G. Komen community today.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Stay Housed LA has the resources you need to know your rights and the legal support to back them up. The COVID-19 pandemic has cost people their jobs and livelihoods. This has left an estimated 1/3 of households not being able to make rent and facing losing their homes. This is a fear no one in our community should have to face. You have rights, though, and Stay Housed LA is here to help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between the County of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles, and local community and legal service providers. Together, they provide tenants with the information and support needed to exercise their rights so they can remain safely in their homes. Find out more about your rights by participating in a virtual tenant workshop. Get the legal assistance you need. Find additional resources in Los Angeles County and the City of Los Angeles. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA County for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. That's stayhousedla.org. Or call their hotline at 213-694-0040. We've got your black with a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Forensic accountant says I'm selling his name. He said that he was not talking about women waiting in the living room. He just meant he would keep them waiting. All right. Back in the day, the teen years, before when it was just beepers and all of that. No cell phones, no quick connects, no text messages. Okay, so listen, I mentioned Lil Boosie, and I told you he's like Santa, making a list and checking it twice, coming at everybody over using his stuff, right? So he came at Rod Wave the other day, and he also came at Kodak Black, and most recently today, he came at YG over a song that was, I believe, on YG's debut album called Who Do You Love, right? Boosie is saying, look, you are taking my stuff and I need to be compensated. I feel like that song is like 10 years old or something like that. So it's really a long, long time coming, but he's threatening to take legal action against other artists for sampling his work without permission, right? Saturday, like I mentioned, he called out artist Rod Wave. He sampled Boosie's 2010 cut Long Journey on Rod Wave's latest album, Nostalgia, right? And Boosie even shared Rod Wave did it best, no cap. He said, a lot of artists are sampling my stuff and I can't even get a feature. People just don't think and I'm business minded, right? Does he have a point? Maybe. I would hope that in 2023, people are not putting out music and thinking that they don't have to clear samples, right? Boosie also went on to say, how is it foul? Business, it's business. You know that. You ain't got to do that to no other major label without compensating them with their splits. Why do it to me you looked up to? You expected me to let you take my kids' publishing? Get out of here. Stop playing victim. Go sample No Limit, Bad Boy, Cash Money, So So Def, Michael Jackson, Marvin Gaye, Prince, R. Kelly word for free. No, it doesn't happen. And that was to Rod Wave, right? So here's the thing about that. Rod Wave responded and was basically like, you ain't got to sue me, Bootsy. He's like, just pull up on me, I got you. But as Bootsy continued to go in, I guess Rod Wave got a little emotional about it, right? And he's saying now, and again, you know how people get dramatic when things happen. Social media makes us a little more thing. And I don't know if you guys have heard of Rod Wave. He might be a little young. Check into his stuff. The kids seem to love him. I can't believe I said the kids. That's so auntie-ish. And we know I don't like the auntie name, but I like some of Rod Wave's stuff. But his response was, I never stole blank for 5 platinum albums. Find you a hobby. He said, bump y'all. I did what I came to do. I'm not dropping anything else. Cause you don't know about the original song means I stole it. Y'all dumb, right? And this is coming up because people are also pointing out, and this is my interlope point, right? There is a song of Rod Wave's where he seemingly utilizes some of Jay-Z's song Cry, right? And so the part that he utilized was, we was so happy poor, but when we got rich, that's when our signals got crossed and we got flipped. Rather mine, I don't know what made me leave that bleep, made me speed that quick, let me, blah, blah, blah. That's song Cry. And so Rod Wave interprets that into his song. Is it just paying homage? Is that much of a grab enough to make a song, a hit song over again? I just find it interesting where we are with music. You think about the blurred line suit and some of those things. There's limited amount of chords across music. Even with Khalees and the thing that happened with Beyonce, when Beyonce dropped that la 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 and Khalees was going up. And so Beyonce promptly reissued the digital version minus that one little sample. And to me, I barely even noticed it was there, but she did give the actual songwriters, which were Pharrell and such, credit for that. So I want to know how you feel about that as far as artists and their works, because back in the day, there was a heavy emphasis on biting. Beat biters, dope style taker, tell you to your face you ain't nothing but a faker, and all of that type of stuff. But then it kind of evolved and it was paying homage. We saw Drake get sued, I think by Rappin' Forte, or had to pay him funds on what was the song, Players Club. Me and my homies, that was Rappin' Forte's song. And was it Who Do You Love with YG? It actually was. So Boosie, you should have got your, time in then when Rappin' Forte was. But how much of that okay, let me slow down. How much of that do you think, we know it enhanced Drake's thing and it was a callback moment, but do you think it made the song, and how much writing credit do people deserve? Because people also talk about, there's no talent nowadays. There's like 20 people listed on a song. Well, that's why if you use any part of a sample, they include the songwriter. So that's why those splits are mad long, and you may just be getting, $1 every 4 years from that sample, but it's something. Forensic accountant mentioned people get paid for interloption. I know that they do. I'm not saying that they shouldn't, but I'm saying what's the fairness in it? Like, if I just, if I said, if I'm making up a rap and then I said la-di-da-di and continue on my thing, do I got to play Snoop and Slick Rick? How much? How much is that worth? If I'm just trying to show love. Those are the type of things I'm figuring out. We'll get more on this topic in the next hour. And plus, we're going to talk about, is there an aesthetic for Black women? We are going to hear a clip from Ari Lennox talking about why she did not get a nose job. We're going to hear from Amber Rose and her crying over Wiz Khalifa, which sort of plays into the topic as how I'm going to expand it. So all of that and more on the other side. You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Trying to break us down.